All right, guys. So again, thank you very much for joining in on today's webinar. So just to introduce myself, my name is Dean. I am one of the support staff here at Quizcom. So if you do run into any issues, you can always shoot an email to support@quizcom.com, and myself or anyone of my colleagues will be one of the people that assist you in resolving your issue. Okay. So just to begin, we're going to be taking an introductory look at the QuizCom Custom Actions module, which is a part of QuizCom Forms. And the Custom Actions also goes hand in hand with the Activities module. Okay. Now to introduce the example that I have set up here, I've got an expense report and a list of expenses. And what this expense report is, it's actually using some of our other products. So the one up here would be the cascading lookup, and the one down here is our repeating rows product. Okay. So what might happen is I might want to go on a trip or something like that. So let's say I'm going to Toronto and I'm planning myself a Toronto trip. I would select myself as the employee. Here you can see city is blank. If I select country, I can pick Canada, and that will filter out the options down here to be only Canadian options. If I select US, that changes that down there, but let's stick with Toronto here. And let's fill up some expenses. So I might go out for a meal here. Let's go for something pretty Canadian, poutine. So I guess it's from Montreal, but you can get that in Toronto as well. Okay, that's my per diem for the day. So let's say that cost me $15, and we'll take that today. And gas is fairly expensive up here as well. That's going to be my mileage. We'll say $80. And we'll also incur that today, and we'll hit save. Okay, so you can see here what's happening is now that I've created those two rows, it's going to populate over to this list over here at the bottom. So I'm going to hit refresh. We'll retry that, and you can see that they've been populated down here. Okay. Now this form was made fairly quickly, so there's a bunch of disadvantages. Now this form was created a bit in a hurry, so you can see that it's not fully doing everything that it's supposed to do. For instance, the submitter name field down here is blank, which it should automatically be populated somehow. Okay. What we can do is we can actually automate this process. So I'm going to click on the close button here. Okay, we'll go to list, and let's actually set up a custom action that does this job for us. Okay, so I'm going to go into my activities module here to start off. And what I want to do is I don't want to have to flip back and forth between these two lists and pull that information. So I'm actually going to do a get activity. Okay, so I'm going to get the column value from here. All right. And we'll name this action, so it'll be get user. Well, we'll call it get submitter. Okay, I'm going to click on the properties, and you can pull information from the current list. I'm actually going to pull it from a remote location. You can pull it from any site within your site collection. I'm actually just going to pull it from the current site, but from a different list. So I want to pull it from the expense report list, is what I believe I named it. Yep, that's correct. And we'll add a query clause here. Okay. So if my item is in the source list, I want to pull the value from the title field. So if the title is equal to, and let's actually pull up one of these items here in my expense list, and let's pull up one of these items here. Okay, so if the title is equal to the master item field here, so this is a lookup field, if the titles match, then I'm going to pull that value. So in this case, what I want to do is I'm going to put in square brackets here as a token, master item. Okay, and I want to pull the data from the employee field. All right, I'm going to hit save. That's one activity, but we need to do something with that. Okay, so I'm going to click on new activity again, and I'm going to use the information from my first activity to populate another field. So we'll call this update submitter. Go to properties. I'm going to update the current item, and I want the whatchamacallit. I want the submitter field. Okay. And we're actually going to populate this with a variable. So I'm going to type in variable one, okay, and we'll hit save. Okay, then we're going to go back and we're going to actually go into our custom actions and start utilizing these. Okay, so I'm going to create a custom action here, and we're going to make this a ribbon action, and we're going to call this get submitter. Okay, we'll make this gets the submitter. And we'll give it a button caption up here, so we'll call this get submitter. Okay, I'm going to have this actually redirect to the view item form when it's done. Okay, so I'm going to type that into square brackets. We'll save that. Okay, and let's go back here and give this a test drive. Okay, and let's go to our Gas Toronto. Okay, I'm going to click on the Get Submitter button up here. You can see that's blank down here. I'm going to click on that. And it does not work. That's because I did not put in the actual variable that I want to pull. Okay, so let's go back here and actually do this properly. Okay, let's do that again. So we'll go back to custom actions. We'll click on this. We'll go to activities. And in order for any of your custom actions to work, you do need to have activities there. So I just want to make sure you guys were paying attention. So we're going to click on the activity thing here. We're going to pull the name field. Okay. And whenever you do any sort of a get activity, it's going to save the output into a variable called output1. If you have more get activities, it'll go down output2, output3, output4, so on and so forth. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this information. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to update the submitter field with the stuff in variable 1. This is also saved incorrectly. I do need a % after the 1 as well. So let's actually hit cancel there for a second. We'll go back here. Okay, and let's just quickly edit this so it's showing the proper information. There we go. Add a %, hit save. Okay, and we'll close that window down. Okay, we'll go back to our Manage Custom Actions. And hopefully this works as intended this time. Okay, so we'll get the name, get the submitter, and here you can see variable 1 is now a clickable link. I'm going to click on this, okay, and it gives me a bunch of different options that I can use to populate in here. I'm going to just use the variable that I want, so that's going to be output1. And now a common mistake, aside from mistyping your %, is to actually just click on this and hit OK. Nothing will actually happen if you do that. So what you want to do is you want to click on this, select the variable, click on Insert Token, super important right there. You can even add a bunch of stuff afterwards if you want to output 1 and some other stuff if you want. It'll put some text in there. I'm going to leave it as just output 1 and hit OK and hit save. Okay. And now this should actually work. So let's close some down, some of these extra tabs here. So I've got expense report twice. I don't need that one. Don't need this one here. Okay, we'll go back into our Toronto Gas. And I'm going to click on the Get Submitter button. There we go. Okay, so it's put it in as Bill Burr. It's quite possible that I have a discrepancy here. So Gas Toronto, what did I name this? Toronto Trip. And you know what? It's very possible I have another item called Toronto Trip in this list here. So we're going to hit close. Toronto Trip, Toronto Trip. Okay, so it's doubled here. All right, so that's just a logic issue on my end. I probably should have named this something different. So let's actually create a new item with something a little bit more unique. So we're going to call this Montreal Conference. I don't think I have anything else named that. Put this in here. Country, US, Canada, Montreal. what's something from Montreal? Smoked meat costing $50 on the 26th. Let's pick a different name actually. Let's pick John Caparulo. Okay, I'm going to hit save. Let's double check one more time to make sure there's no duplicate entries. So Montreal conference is unique. We'll jump over here, hit the close button. Okay, here's our entry down here. Okay, this is not automatically populated, so I'm going to click on Get Submitter. Oops. Hold on a second. Okay, let's try this one more time. Smoked meat, Get Submitter. There we go. And it's now showing as John Caparulo. Okay, so I'm going to hit close. And let's go ahead and move on to our next example. And that is to do just another ribbon action. We can do multiple activities in the same custom action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my list actions here. And let's actually set up a custom action that updates several fields at the same time. So I'm going to go back to QuizCom Forms. We'll set up an activity. Okay, and what I want to do is, let's see, we'll go to New Activity. Okay, and I want to do an action that just approves of an expense. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do an update item activity, and we're going to do approve expense. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to update our current item. Okay, and we'll add a field. So what I want to do is I want to set the approval, the approved checkbox to yes. So it's defaulting to no currently when the item is created. I'm going to click on the add field, add field to add another field, and we can do several fields at the same time. I'm going to make the approval date a token, so I want to have that approved as today. So you don't have to go in there and type a date, you just have to put in the today token into the field there. It'll take the today's date and just automatically populate that. Okay, and let's say we're also going to do the reimbursement date as today plus 7. So the reimbursement date's always going to be exactly 1 week away from the approval date. We can't let people have their money too early now, can we? And we'll just leave it as that. Okay, I'm going to hit save. Okay, so there's 3 actions there. And what I also want to have happen is I want to be able to send out an email once an item is approved. Okay, so we're going to create another activity here, and we're going to set up a condition. Okay, oops. So we'll do an activity. We're going to have an email here. Name, email, account. Okay, we'll hit properties. So the recipient here, again, you can use a token in here, but let's say everything's going to our accounts department and they just have one email. You can also put in static information into these fields as well. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm just going to type in my own email address. Okay, that way we can pull up the email just to see what it looks like. Subject is going to be pay, you know what? Let's use a token here. So we're going to say variable 2. Okay, make sure you add a %sign in front and behind the variable name. And for the body, we can actually have a bunch of tokens in here as well. So we can say you need to pay back variable 3 in the amount of, let's see what our field names are. So it's going to be amount. Whoops. Oh no. Okay, we can do it. Cold fingers, warm up. Amount of that much. Okay, so that should be a fairly simplistic email that we're going to send out to our accounts payable department. I'm going to hit save. Okay, and let's go ahead and create some activities. So if I go to manage custom actions, okay, I'm going to create a new custom action. All right, so the first one I want to do is a ribbon action. Okay, so we're going to say approve expense. We'll call this approve expense. And I think this is pretty self-explanatory in the title, so not much need for a description. Okay, and again, I want to redirect myself to the view item form when I'm done. Okay, we'll just make sure people know that when you click this button, money goes out the company. Okay, we're going to pick our activities. So I'm going to make sure that we do, let's see, approve expense. I'm going to leave it as that for now. Okay, and I'm going to hit save. And what I'm going to do for the sake of the example, okay, even though it would make more sense just to add the email activity in there, I'm going to create a new custom action that is triggered based on a condition. Okay, so I'm going to create a second custom action here. All right, and this is going to be an automatic action. Okay, we want to run this when an item is updated. Okay, we'll call this send confirmation. All right, the activity we want to run is to email accounts payable. So the subject, I'm going to start populating these variables here. So with the subject, we're going to pay. Where is it? We want to pay the submitter name. Okay, so I'm going to insert that token here. I'm going to hit OK. And for these, we're going to say we need to pay back the amount. Okay. Whoops, sorry. Nope, we need to pay back the submitter. I'm going to add that. Let's delete these so it's less confusing. We're going to add this. And here I can even add some extra text. So we can say something like, you need to pay back John Caparulo. We can say immediately. Okay. In the amount of this amount. And hit OK. And I'm going to hit save. Whoops, nope, not yet, not done yet. Okay, let's go back here, send confirmation, and let's just finish that off. So we have our activity, and we want to set up a condition where we only send this email out, okay, if the reimbursement or the expense has been approved. All right. So we're going to add the condition if the approval date, if approved is equal to yes, we're going to hit save. Okay, then we're going to send out that email, and this is an automatic response. All right, so let's go back here and we'll test drive this operation as well. Okay, it's a smoked meat. We go in here. You can see here that the approval date is empty. Approved is equal to no. There's no reimbursement date. Reimbursed is equal to yes, so that's just a mistake with the form itself. And I'm going to approve this expense. Money going out, so you can see our confirmation right here. I'm going to click OK, and we'll just let that process for a second here. Okay, so now you can see here we have an approval date of today, which is July the 25th. Approved has been set to yes. The reimbursement date is, it's almost August. Okay, so it's the reimbursement date is going to be August the 1st, which is exactly 1 week away from today. Okay, reimburse is yes. All right, and we should be receiving an email shortly. Actually, we will receive email if I have my email client open. So let's go ahead and open Outlook here. Okay. Whoops. And you can, whoops, okay, hold on. A little bit of technical difficulties with the hands. We can pull this email over here. Let's open this up. And you can see here that the resulting email sent would be right here. So you need to pay John Caparulo immediately in the amount of 50. Probably should have added a $sign in front of that, just formatting wise, but aside from that, everything else is as you would expect. Okay. So that's going to be the conclusion of the webinar for today. Just kind of outlining the capabilities of the custom actions activities module. So at this point, if anybody has any questions, we're here for another couple of minutes. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that may come up. Okay. If you don't have any if you don't have any other questions, and you're going to be on your way, I do want to thank you guys very much for coming and joining today's webinar. If you do have any questions that you can't think of right now, but they do come up later on during the day or at any time in the future, please feel free to shoot us an email to support@quizcom.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you.